All right, welcome. If you are gearing up for your GP training exams, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to build your essential GP Consultation Toolkit. We're going to break down the 7 models you absolutely have to know, make them clear, make them memorable, and get you ready to go.
So, let's just dive right in. We're covering 7 key consultation models. And my goal here is simple, to help you master these frameworks so you can walk into that exam feeling totally confident. Ready to get started?
First things first, we've got to look at the foundational frameworks. Think of these as the bedrock, the core ideas that everything else is really built on. Understanding where these ideas came from is so crucial to understanding where we are today.
And this timeline just shows that evolution perfectly. You can see it starts with Stott and Davis back in '79, and then there's this explosion of ideas through the '80s and '90s, all leading up to the really comprehensive Calgary-Cambridge Guide. It's a real journey from simple ideas to much more integrated, patient-focused approaches.
Okay, let's grab the first tool for our toolkit, the Stott and Davis model from 1979. The core idea here is all about the exceptional potential of every single consultation. They were basically saying that every time a patient walks in, there are 4 huge opportunities for a GP. And here they are, those 4 tasks. Now, for your exam, this is absolute gold. You have to remember this. The examiners aren't just looking to see if you can handle the presenting problem. They want to see that you're also managing continuing issues, thinking about the patient's help-seeking behavior, and this is a big one, you're looking for those little moments for health promotion. This model gives you the perfect framework to hit every single one of those marks.
All right, moving on to our next tool, you'll see how this builds on the last one. So in 1984, Pendleton comes along and expands on these ideas, creating a much more detailed framework with 7 distinct tasks. It's a bit of a step up in complexity, but it adds a lot of helpful structure.
And you can see the shift right here. Pendleton specifically brings in achieving a shared understanding and really involving the patient in their own management. See, this is a clear move away from a purely doctor-led agenda. It's all about choosing an action together and being smart about using your time and resources, a really practical framework that examiners absolutely love to see.
Now, Tuckett's model from 1985. This one is a huge philosophical shift. The key concept to remember here is the meeting of 2 experts. This idea completely reframes the whole power dynamic of the consultation. It's no longer a doctor just giving top-down instructions. And this illustrates that idea perfectly. The doctor, you're the expert in medicine, no question. But the patient, they are the undisputed world expert in their own illness, their experience, their life, what it feels like. So the whole point of the consultation, according to Tuckett, is to bridge that gap between your expertise and theirs. Why does this matter for your exam? Well, showing this mindset proves you respect the patient's autonomy, and that is a hallmark of high-scoring, patient-centered care.
Okay, now for a model that is just incredibly useful for structuring your thoughts, especially in an exam. This is Neighbor's Inner Consultation from 1987. It's a 5-checkpoint model that gives you a beautifully simple, linear flow to follow.
I mean, just look at how clear this is. Step 1, connect with the patient. Step 2, summarize what you've heard to make sure you're on the same page. 3, hand over the plan. 4, safety net, which is just so crucial. And 5, housekeeping, which is about resetting yourself for the next patient. It's just a clean, easy-to-remember journey from start to finish.
Right, so now we're going to move into the next phase of how these models evolved, the patient-centered shift. These next few frameworks take those ideas of shared understanding and collaboration and put them right at the very heart of everything.
Fraser's model from 1992 is a little bit different. It's less of a step-by-step guide for the consultation itself and more of a checklist of the core skills or areas of competence that a good GP really needs to have.
So the key thing to get here is that this isn't really a flow for a single consultation. It's more of a list of the abilities you need to have in your back pocket. Can you interview well? Can you solve problems? Can you relate to your patients? It's really a framework for your own professional development and a great summary of the skills that examiners are looking for.
Next up is Stewart's Patient-Centered Clinical Method from 1995. Now, this is a truly foundational model for modern general practice. It's all about taking a holistic view of the person sitting in front of you, not just the symptom they came in with.
The real heart of Stewart's method, as you can see here, is understanding the whole person. And that means exploring both the disease, the medical pathology, and the patient's personal illness experience. It's about finding that common ground, building the relationship, and weaving in prevention, all while being realistic about your resources.
And finally, we arrive at the Calgary-Cambridge Guide from 1996. Look, if you're going to know one model in detail for your exams, this is often the one to pick. It's a really comprehensive, evidence-based framework that pulls together a lot of the previous ideas into one clear, structured process. This model gives you 5 crystal-clear stages, right from initiating the session all the way to closing it. And what's so brilliant about it is how it weaves building the relationship throughout the entire process. It's not some separate task you have to do. It's integrated into everything, from gathering information to explaining the plan. It really is the complete package.
Okay, wow, we have covered a lot of ground. So now let's pull it all together. This next bit is your ultimate revision cheat sheet, bringing all 7 of these models together so you can see them at a glance.
Okay, this slide right here. This is your high-yield summary. Seriously, pause this, take a screenshot, do whatever you need to do, because this is the money slide. You can see every model, its core idea, and a simple keyword to jog your memory when you're under exam pressure. From Stott and Davis's 4 tasks to Calgary-Cambridge's 5-stage guide, this is your entire toolkit all on one screen.
So, we have the theory. We've got the models down. But knowing the models is really only half the battle. The real skill is in the application. So let's talk about shifting from theory to practice.
And this right here is probably the most important takeaway for your entire career. These aren't just rigid academic rules that you have to follow blindly. They're tools. The best practitioners don't sit there consciously thinking, okay, now I'm doing Pendleton Task 3. No, they internalize these principles and they integrate them seamlessly into their own unique style.
So as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this thought. You now have the toolkit. You have 7 incredible frameworks you can draw on. The question is no longer, what are the models? The real question is, how will you use them to build your consultation? Because that is the true art of general practice.